I am really honored to be standing up here, and I acknowledge the pipe ceremony and the water ceremony as we begin this beautiful day.
Welcome everybody to our inaugural Indigenous Food Sovereignty Summit. It's finally here, and I'm just excited, ecstatic, and that it's happening.
All of you in this room are keepers of knowledge, important knowledge that needs to be shared, especially with our young people.
I believe with my whole being that this is a pivotal moment in time, and it's a moment in time in which we're being challenged to take back what was ours. Through the wonderful support and guidance and wisdom of the elders that we've worked with, they've helped us put together through ceremony, through roundtable dialogues and sharing circles, they've helped us put together what we are calling the 6 teachings of Indigenous food sovereignty. And they are spirit and celebration, and the idea that food is spiritual and it provides nourishment for our entire beings. It contains spirit, and the way that we honor and celebrate that spirit is through things like feasting. On our pathway to Indigenous food sovereignty, we also need to revitalize our language systems, because a lot of our language comes from the land, and it's a way of honoring who we are and a way of honoring the land that provides for us. Women have an extremely special relationship with the land, and in particular our waters. Youth are our future. They're our next generation. They're our ability to spark a movement and make sure that it carries forward beyond our time. Elders are our wisdom keepers. They carry special knowledge. We need to acknowledge the land and the changes that are happening on the landscape, and we need to become defenders again.
The teachings of Indigenous food sovereignty, about the spirit, about the language, about the women, youth, elders, it encompasses everything in life. We live it. It's the idea that we're living it, and we're not just doing it. We have to live it.
Yeah, I'd like to introduce you to Winona. I'll give her a hand here. She's our keynote speaker.
You know, in my territory, when I started talking about traditional farming, people said, we didn't used to farm, we always harvested. I said, no. We grew some cool stuff. We grew some really cool stuff, and we need to get back for growing that stuff. But part of that process is the erasing of our knowledge, and that happens through colonialism, and it also happens when the landscape upon which you grew your food is no longer the landscape which you see.
From that food, from the seriousness of feeding each other, it represented giving each other life. That's what it was.
Wild rice seeds. Yeah. So if you want to take some wild rice.
I know many of these here, these are the wild rice seeds in there. Mm-hmm.
If you don't have land, what good are the seeds, right? So how can we do that as a people, as all people, to protect the lands so that we can have the seeds? When it comes to land protection, water protection, I don't like to leave out what's happening with the missing and murdered women and men as well.
And that's why foods were so important a long time ago. How many of you ever ate muskrat? You just take that tail and go, whoop, yeah? So muskrat was one of the important foods that are, well, they're all important, but one of the main ones that our people ate a long time ago. So when we eat that muskrat, we're taking all those medicines in, because there's other medicines that muskrat eats as well that's good for us.
And we did those spring ceremonies to give thanks to all the food that was given to us during the spring. When all the food of our winged friends, relatives, all the muskrats, all the beaver that came back to nourish us. And then
in these smudge with these 4 sacred medicines, the sweetgrass, the sage, the cedar, and the tobacco. Those are our 4 sacred medicines. And each of those medicines help us. In some way or another, they help us. They help align us. So I brought the 4 sacred medicines here.
A warm welcome and welcome to our nation. These visitors from south of the border. Again, Miigwech, thank you for coming.
We are here carrying a prayer, and Peace and Dignity Journeys is started in 1992. We run from community, First Nations communities. The staff is for, the prayer is for the missing and murdered Indigenous women. Every step that we take is a prayer, and so we're sending those prayers through our feet, and with those staves we're connected to the land and to the earth and to the sky in these ways that make us really, really sensitive. It also makes us staffs ourselves. Like, we become these vessels, like I heard Byron say earlier, these vessels for these prayers and to do Creator's work and to reactivate a lot of these sites that we don't visit anymore.
And we present these tobacco ties to our runners so that they can carry our prayers with them. That's it. They talked about missing and murdered women also. So all these things that we're praying for, I think it'd be good if we give them that, so they can carry that with us.
We had breakout sessions, and instead of going with the regular, coffee, donuts, we decided to honor each nation by having a special dish from their community. They researched how food was prepared like 2,000-3,000 years ago.
Being simple can be a good thing sometimes. So when they say the food's really good, it's more that it's actually not my stuff really. It's 1,000-year-old techniques. It's 1,000-year-old ideas.
Whoa, that's bursting with flavor.
Some recommendations on the idea.
The workshop, they want to share. They want to learn. It was just like a kinship of people that was together.
Any recommendations for next year? Include youth?
That's what I was going to say.
Elder guidance or input or input.
Communities to share and highlight projects specific to food and food sovereignty.
And that's why we're all still make it better for the younger generation.
Something, action to do with them. That's the only way that we can see what it's all about.
Fishing, they're trapping, picking of wild rice.
We had a good balance of different experiences with the generations. We had some young people presenting, and we had the elders presenting, and it seemed to bring a good balance between everybody.
Again, all this comes not as me and Tabitha talk, but me and all you guys talk, and most of all, Creator. Things come for a reason, and it's up to us to see that. It's right here. And it's up to us to recognize that when you're being talked to. We say by your grandfathers, by your grandmothers.
So there's a lot of things we have to do. This is only just a beginning. We're gathering here to discuss these things. And we can't stand up alone. We have to get together, we have to get united.
I see a day in the future when we put the children back into the center, giving them the greatest protection that the child deserves. And that protection is love. I see a day in the future that we will be living. Thank you for listening. Miigwech.
It's the